Welcome back to Turner Farm. This week's topic is very near and dear to me, and it's one I really feel like everyone deserves to understand more about. So we spent the last couple weeks moving into our brand new home. We have built this from scratch, from the ground up over the past few years, and one of the most important things was to build it healthy and with as minimal exposure to EMFs as possible. So today I'm going to show you exactly how we did just that. As always, thank you for subscribing to our family's YouTube channel. So this is a topic that I've been really interested and passionate about for the last few years as we've built our house. And when we first started building the house, I was just really mindful of how we could mitigate electromagnetic frequencies inside of the home. So originally what we did was we hardwired all of our internet. So every single room has plugs that you can plug an Ethernet cord into, and you can plug it into your cell phone or into your computer. And we were going to just have kind of hardwired internet, like old-fashioned 1990s hardwired internet. Our computers were going to be hardwired, everything. Originally, that was kind of the plan. And as I kind of dove deeper into it, I realized that that still doesn't fully protect you from electromagnetic frequencies in the home. So it would have protected us from any Wi-Fi, but we also have a metal roof, and a lot of people out here rurally, because we're very rural, a lot of people use Starlink, which is like a satellite Wi-Fi, which means that we are affected by that, even though we choose not to have it. So it doesn't fully protect you to just simply hardwire your home. It definitely helps, but it doesn't fully protect you, because the type of frequencies that come from EMFs, they come from lots of different things as well, and not just your Wi-Fi, and I'll get into that a little bit more. So as I was going through all of this, I needed a product in the house that was going to remediate all of that EMF that we were exposed to, and I wasn't really finding anything that I really felt confident enough in, because most of it blocked the EMFs, and you really don't want to just simply block EMFs, because it doesn't work. For one, if you're blocking EMFs from your cell phone technically shouldn't work, because you're blocking all of it. So if you have a product that's attached to your phone and your phone still works, then obviously, and it claims to block the EMFs, then obviously it's not really doing its job. And so I don't like that. And also because most of the time, especially with Starlink, where people are doing like even higher than 5G, it penetrates much further than just walls. So, painting your walls with EMF paint or whatever it is, it has to bounce somewhere. And usually when it bounces off of something, it gets stronger. So I don't love products that block. So I chose not to do that. So I found this particular product, and I'll talk about what exactly it is. And I just want to say that somebody told me about it because of their experience with the product was so positive, and then I approached the company. I don't promote anything, even if it is sponsored, that I don't believe in, but this is not sponsored. They are not paying me to say this. I do believe this is information that everybody deserves to know, and this is a product that I sought out. I approached the company. I wanted it in my home, and I've recognized and felt the benefits from it, and so that's why I'm sharing it. So I found this product, and it doesn't block the EMFs. And so basically, when you have EMFs in your home or anywhere, because we have them basically everywhere, it isn't necessarily the electromagnetic frequency that is altering our bodies. It's the subchaotic frequencies. And subchaotic frequencies can come from things like fans. They can come from things like air purifiers, anything that spirals and blows air. It can come from that, like air conditioning units. Anything like that has subchaotic frequencies that alter our, specifically red blood cells. So if you were to take red blood cells and put them in a controlled chamber, and you were to put EMFs in there with them, so like a router or something like that in there with it, what happens in these studies that they've done, what happens to the red blood cells is they start to clump together, or in other words, they start to coagulate. And what are clumped together irregular cells? Well, they form clumps of irregular cells. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to start labeling that, but we can all agree that clumped together regular cells or irregular cells inside of our bodies cause problems and cause dis-ease in the body. And there's lots of different things that can happen when that takes place. And so what they're finding is these electromagnetic frequencies or subchaotic frequencies can cause these issues in the body because of the clumped together red blood cells. So what they did with these products is they took those chambers with the red blood cells and they put the EMFs in there with it, and then they added these products to it. So they added the EMF solutions, what they make their products up, they added it into the chamber. And what they found was not only did the blood not coagulate, the red blood cells did not clump together, but they also healed the red blood cells that were clumping together. So they were healing irregular cells in the body by putting this stuff in there. So what it does is it doesn't block the EMFs. These products do not block the EMFs. To my knowledge, and Corey, the founder of the company, I've had the pleasure of actually having a phone conversation with him, and he's wonderful. And the science behind all of this is that it harmonizes the subchaotic frequencies. So when they put these in the chamber with the red blood cells, is what they found was that it wasn't necessarily blocking the subchaotic frequencies from getting to the red blood cells. It was just harmonizing the frequencies before it got there. And so what's going on is we are being bombarded with all of these subchaotic frequencies, EMFs, all of that every single day, wherever we go, inside of our homes, especially if you have a metal roof. And what happens when we are inside of that is that all of our red blood cells are constantly in this fight or flight. So we're always in this panic mode inside our body. Our immune systems are always being compromised, always. But with these, they're not. So by the time those frequencies come into the body, our body is okay with them. So it blows my mind. I'm super interested in it and passionate about it because it's such an easy thing. You're just basically placing these in your home and that's it. And I keep one on me all the time. I have one in my car. I'm going to show you what they all look like. Again, this is not sponsored. I'm just super excited about the product and I really want people to be able to know about it. So I'm going to show you what they look like. And I'm going to show you where we put them in our house and why, and kind of like how to install and that sort of thing. There's not really any installation. You're just sort of like placing them in certain parts, but I'll explain why you place them in certain parts and we'll go from there. These are some of the products. This is the home harmonizer and I'm going to show you exactly how I attached it to the meter outside of my house. So what we did was we set our meter way back from the house because again, I thought that doing that would kind of mitigate our risks for dirty electricity. And those subchaotic frequencies coming into the home because my kids' bedrooms were right above where the meter was supposed to be, and that's a huge no for me. So we set it back from the house, and that definitely helps, but it doesn't fully mitigate it. And so this is the home harmonizer that goes on your meter, and depending on how large your home is, so ours needs 2. Specifically because we have a metal roof. If you have a metal roof, like you're way more susceptible for like caging subchaotic frequencies inside your home and basically just living in it all the time. And it's a very awful environment to be constantly trying to be healthy in. And so I just think if we're trying to eat healthy food and we're trying to do all the healthy things, this is a really important piece to all of that. This was probably the most worthwhile investment we made in our home. So this goes on side. We had 2 of these. I'm going to show you exactly how they sit out there. This is a room harmonizer. So if you live, in an apartment building or something like that, or if you're going away on vacation and you're going to be in a hotel, this just plugs right into the wall and it harmonizes the frequencies in that room. So, it obviously isn't going to really work if you put it in a living room and you have a huge open concept home, but in your bedroom or in a hotel room or something like that, these are great. You can get 1 or 2 of them, plug them into the wall, and it harmonizes the frequencies in the room while you're sleeping. And, it's a nice compromise if you can't do the whole home harmonizer. These aren't going to do everything, but it definitely helps for your sleeping quarters. So I have a couple of those. And then this is the personal card. So I'll show you mine. I have it in my back pocket. I just keep it in my back pocket all the time and it stays there. And this just sort of like harmonizes any frequencies that you're going to come in contact with throughout your day. So it just sits in your back pocket. It needs to be close to you as you can get it. So that sits in your pocket. My kids actually, because they don't always wear pants with pockets, so they wear these on their wrists. They look like an Apple Watch and they just wear them around their wrist, and this protects them or you can also, like, these are for adults as well. This protects them from any subchaotic frequencies that they're coming into contact with if they're outside the house. I don't really need them to wear them inside the house because our house is fixed fully, but outside the house, if they're going anywhere, those are really helpful. This one goes in my car. So this just plugs into the kind of jack in your car, and it, depending on what kind of car you have, if you're driving a Tesla, you're gonna probably need more than just this, because Teslas are full of EMF, or any electric vehicle really, not just Teslas. Any electric vehicle is going to be very high in electromagnetic frequencies, more so than just regular ones. But these plug into your car. They help kind of mitigate and remediate any of those frequencies inside the car, because all of our cars have access to internet. We're all driving around 5G towers. The cars are metal. It's, you know, I was getting so tired in my car when I would drive. Like, I wouldn't even be able to drive for longer than 20 minutes. I would get very fatigued. I know that that doesn't affect everyone, but it definitely was affecting me. And I don't find I do anymore when I use this at all. Like, within the first 15 minutes, I noticed a difference of driving my car. These are called Better Z's. And so these just stay right in the bag, and they go underneath your bed. So if you have a coiled mattress or like a box spring mattress, A, I would suggest getting rid of it. Or like, and B, you're gonna need probably more than just this in your bed. Coils are some of the worst frequencies. It like coils up through the bed coils, and like when it goes into your body, it's really quite a bit worse. So I don't like coil box springs or anything, but if you are able to replace it, that would be my suggestion. But even if not, these are great. They go underneath your mattress. So we have a wooden bed frame. It just sits underneath the mattress, kind of like on the wooden bed frame. If you have a metal bed frame, you don't want it to kind of wrap around underneath your mattress. You can wrap it around like the leg and just put like I don't know, like a zip tie or something on it. You can wrap it around like that, and it will help remediate any EMFs that are kind of like in the room. I also have one of these in my car. I stuck it on the metal floor. I have the car harmonizer and I have one of these. I have both just because I have a newer vehicle and I have Wi-Fi in the car. The other thing I wanted to mention, these are the whole home harmonizer. There's also a booster that you can get that's smaller. Mine's installed outside, so I'll show you what it looks like, but I'll show you where I have it and why. But you can get these, plus you can get the smaller boosters. Okay, so these are the device chips. And again, I'm gonna show you where we put them in the house. So it just has the chip part there, and it clips right onto, so like Wi-Fi routers, air purifiers, fans. We have all of that in our house, air purifiers especially, because they're really great, but they're also a lot of subchaotic frequency, a lot. So these are really important to have on any of your air purifiers and any fans that you have in the house. So this just clips right on the wire. I'm gonna show you exactly how it goes, but on your Wi-Fi routers, you wanna make sure you have like 2, sometimes even 3 of these on your Wi-Fi routers in your house. It's just such an easy way to fix your Wi-Fi and make it so that there are no strong EMFs that you're being subjected to inside your home. So I have 2 of these downstairs on our router, and then I have 2 of them on the booster box that's upstairs for our Wi-Fi. Like, we have a booster so we can get Wi-Fi upstairs. And then I also have them on our purifiers and our fans in our room. Any like Wi-Fi printers, any Apple TV, any gaming systems. We don't have any of that in our house, but like if you had gaming systems that are hooked up, you want to make sure you have these on everything. TVs, again, we do not have that here, but if you have a TV that's plugged into the wall with an Apple TV and a gaming system on it, you want to make sure you have some of these on all of it. And that's just such an easy thing to purchase off their site. But I'm gonna show you how I have them all hooked up in the house and how they all work. The thing I wanted to add really quick, because I know that this is a lot of information to take in, and when I first learned about this company, I was incredibly overwhelmed by all of the information to take in. So you can actually go on their website and you can book a consult with one of their reps, and it's free. and then they can walk through like, what's your home for square footage? How many cars do you have? How many computers? How many gaming systems? How many TVs? Like, they go through literally everything. This is how I did it. And then basically they tell you exactly what you need for the home. And then if you're like, that's not really in my budget, I have to go less, they can give you options for like, here's the most important part of your home to fix. Here's the most important things to have remediated in your home. So that's kind of my recommendation, because it's like half an hour long phone call, and it's free. And then you have a full list of everything that is the best for your house, and it's specifically catered to you. So I can show you everything that we have, but like, again, we don't have some of the things other people have, like gaming systems or TVs or things like that. So what's in my house is going to look different than probably what's in yours. But that's just a recommendation that I have. You know, if you can't afford to do all of it, then, you know, I like the device clips and the room harmonizers, and I love the home harmonizer because it kind of just takes care of everything. That would be where I would suggest starting. But I'm going to show you how we use them in our house. So as we go through, you'll have to excuse the boxes that may be dotted around the house. But we have this air doctor. I highly suggest having an air purifier in your home. I'm going to do a healthy home YouTube as well that kind of outlines everything we did in our house to make it healthier. But this is definitely a huge must for us. We invested in one of these, and we got the bigger one, and it helps a lot to know what your air quality is. However, they do emit subchaotic frequencies because they are a fan. So it's really important to quote unquote fix them with something. So we have just one of the device chips. We probably should have two on this because it's quite large, but it's not in a bedroom, so it's less important. But we have one of our device chips right on the bottom. So you can see the chip itself is underneath, and then it clips right on top. So that's how we have like fixed this in our living room. So our router booster is actually in our schoolroom. And so we have two clips on this one. And like, again, this is just a booster, so it's okay to have the two. But we have two on this one, and it sits underneath the desk that my kids kind of do their school. So it's really important for me to have this. And then we also have a printer that's connected to Wi-Fi that will also have these device chips on it. So down here in the basement is our actual router, and that has two chips on it as well. You can go up to 3. Ours is only a 5G internet, and we had it on 4G for a while, but we had to notch it up. And so you can do that because we have it fixed. We have the frequencies fixed with these. But if you have something higher than 5G, you're going to probably need more. So these are all of our hardwired cords. They have not been installed yet, but they are going through the entire house. So our internet is hardwired. So if ever we felt like our internet wasn't strong enough because we're way out in the country, we don't have to boost up past a 5G, which I never would anyway. But if we're running more things, such as if we wanted a TV or something like that, we can hardwire it right into our internet rather than boosting up our internet to a higher frequency, just because that gets a little bit more dangerous and harder to fix. So in Anderson's room, we still have some boxes around that we haven't unpacked, but we have a smaller air doctor or air purifier that we rotate between all the bedrooms. So it does like a couple nights in here, and then it will go into Ellie's room and then our room. And it's important on these things that are in the bedroom to have 2 device clips on them, just because there's a lot of, again, subchaotic frequencies that come from air purifiers and also fans. But ours is a tower fan, so we weren't able to connect the device chips properly. So I just set it on top of some Better Z's. So it just sits on that so that the cord has to run right over it, and it fixes that. The other thing is his bed frame is metal, so we will put Better Z's underneath, probably on one of these legs. I haven't done it yet. I don't want it to wrap too much around that underneath, so I'll probably just stick it on one of the legs. Hello, puppies. I'm going to take you outside, and I'm just going to show you how I connect all of this to the house. So it's going to be quite windy out here. So this is the house, and then over here is the meter. So we set it back quite far from the house. And if your meter was going to be on the house, then you can connect your home harmonizer to one of these. But I just set it right on top. So the metal clip is underneath and it just sits right on top of the meter. And I have two, and then the house is over there. Trying to shield the wind, but these are our heating units that sit on the back of the house, and I only have one booster now. One of them got damaged, and so I had to get a second one. It's not here yet, but basically you're just sitting the boosters right on top of the units. So see how it's sitting on top there? The metal clip faces down, and it helps because our kids' rooms are kind of right above that. It helps remediate that subchaotic frequency or EMFs that are going to come from these, because these are smart inverters, and so the option for them to, you know, have like Wi-Fi or EMFs come from them is quite high, and so we want to correct that before it goes into the house. So it just sits right on top. We have a lot of wind up here, a lot, and we haven't had issues with them sitting on top. But you can attach them with zip ties to the side. The last thing that I think is really important to remediate is your laptops and cell phones. So this is the laptop chips. You have to tape them. So this is Daniel's computer. I have them with really ugly tape. You could probably find nicer packing tape, but I really wanted them to stay in place. But we just taped them. You tape them to like the front part of the underside of your laptop. It doesn't make your laptop wobbly or anything like that. It still functions fine, but that's what they look like, and you just tape them on. And then for your cell phone, it's the same thing, same chip, same type of chip, I guess. It's a different chip, but it fits. I'm not going to pull it out, but mine, I just bought this wall. It's called a Wally case. I can certainly link the Wally cases, and you can grab one. I love it because the pouch in the back, if you've not stretched it out, the chip fits perfectly right in there, and you don't even notice that it's on there, and that fixes the frequencies of your phone. So like, I was never someone that would wear my phone in my pocket. It was a huge no for me, because it's right up against your body, and those frequencies are going right into your body. And then there's like all sorts of things that studies have come out with saying that it can cause different ailments. So I just never did it. But with this is enough to fix the frequencies, but you can't use it with a case that has like a magnetic thing, like where you put it down on a charger. So it can't be a magnetic case, has to be a regular one. Or you could just tape it to the back of your phone, but you know, that's kind of ugly. So I got these pretty cases. Daniel's is black, mine is brown, and it just sits right in the back there, and no one even knows that it's there. And it protects us from any sort of bad frequencies that come from our cell phones. Other than the blue light that comes from your cell phone, which you can get blue light glasses for that, but other than that, the cell phone and the computer is perfectly safe to use, which is great, because our kids use our computers, and you know, they do some of their schoolwork on the computers, and I think it's really important to have these items fixed. So that's everything that we have at our house. That's pretty much everything I think that they have, but it's just a matter of what you need specifically for your own home. But I really think it's important to have remediators in your cars, on your devices, your laptops, in your bedrooms, in your Wi-Fi. Like, those are really important things, and those are probably the lesser expensive things on their site. This is definitely an investment. It's probably the best investment we made for our home, and I can't speak highly enough to it. When we first plugged these in our other house, I had detox symptoms, which is really normal because your body is used to living in this fight or flight with all these subchaotic frequencies. And so then all of a sudden it doesn't have to, and it releases all of these toxins that they've kind of been holding in your cells for so long. And I don't obviously know the science behind that, but I know that the detox symptoms for temporarily are very normal. So like, I had my skin broke out. I had like really bad brain fog for a little while, and then all of a sudden it just all lifted. My skin was great. I had tons of energy. Like I felt really good. Driving in my car, I haven't had any issues driving in my car. Like just a whole bunch of different things that I like physically felt. And so I can only speak to my own experiences, but from what I've read from their testimonials, that seems to be very common for people who use their products. I haven't asked, like my kids, it's a little bit harder for kids to tell you if they experience a change. It's harder for them to articulate that. So I haven't really, I don't really know how they're feeling, but I do know for myself that I've noticed it a lot. And typically women tend to be a little more sensitive to those types of things anyways. So that's just my own experience with it. Don't be surprised if you have some detox symptoms if you use these products, especially in a home that's like really ramped up with a lot of EMF, with a lot of products and devices and all of that sort of thing. We're not really a house that has a lot of devices at all, but if you are a home that does and then you fix it, you probably will feel something. And I don't know that for sure, but I did. So anyway, that's my experience with this product. I just really love it, and I've been using it for a bit, and I just wanted to share it, and I hope that people get something from this video and maybe start researching EMFs at the very least, researching how they affect our bodies and how bad they are for us, and maybe taking some steps to mitigate them in your own homes.